Okay, we are here. We are recording. Welcome.
Hi.
Campfire.
It's a Sunday afternoon and we're both drinking some local beer. Mine's from Broadhead.
Mine is from Beyond the Pale, clean cut, because this is all I drink these days. So cheers, first of all.
Cheers, friend.
Guess we could have told Kristi that we're drinking. She's going to come on here and be like, what the heck?
We're already lit, Kristi. Sorry. Well, it is Campfire Chats, so we thought it was appropriate to drink beer along with it too, right?
I lit a candle, ready to rock. Our guest today is Kristi Johnston, and she is the assistant leader for Dream Mountains, which is an organization that Marianne and I were both a part of. We climbed Mount Kilimanjaro with her. We climbed to Everest Base Camp with her. And what else? What else you got?
When it comes to Kristi, she is an avid trail runner. She is a lover of tacos and a very great friend of ours. Let's bring to Zoom our friend, Kristi.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
How are you?
I can't, oh, there she is. Hi.
Hey, hello.
Look at how cute you are.
I glued my hair dry.
Is that why you're 17 minutes late?
I was preparing my answers to the questions.
Okay, acceptable.
Plot twist, we're going completely off script and none of those matter. It was just a ploy.
Half in the bag, we're already drinking, like.
Kristi, so we introduced you as the assistant leader of the Dream Mountains Foundation, which has been done for a couple of years now, Dream Mountains, but it was like a really big part of your life for years.
Are we like on now?
Yeah, we're doing it now. Yeah. So the first question is that, but also kind of give us a rundown of what Dream Mountains was all about.
Well, Dream Mountains was created by a friend of mine who had climbed the 7 summits, including Everest. And on completion, he knew that his journey really couldn't end there. He wanted to do something else. He wanted to teach. He wanted to inspire others. And consequently, we decided that every year we would take a group of people on adventures around the world. So Everest Base Camp, Kilimanjaro, Machu Picchu, and we trained the group, got them outfitted, and got them prepared for the challenge ahead.
And one of the big parts about it was raising money for 7 different charities every year. So what are do you remember some of the charities that you raised money for, and maybe how you saw firsthand the impact that it had on the community?
Yeah, absolutely. Coupled with this really, physical adventure and traveling around the world was this concept of giving back. And we had several charities. We had 7 charities every year, and throughout the course of the 10 years, they changed a little bit over time. But we had charitable and non-for-profit organizations that were international. So ones like Care Canada, SOS Children's Village, also Habitat for Humanity, which has projects here in North America and around the world. And one that was near and dear to my heart, which was the Ottawa School Breakfast Program that's locally based.
And I know Vicky obviously did Ride for Dad, which is near and dear to her heart. I did Sense Foundation, of course, in Ottawa, and then SOS Children's Villages, and we were able to visit one when we were in Tanzania, which was like a very epic experience.
Yeah, absolutely. SOS Children's Villages, we visited in Tanzania. We also visited in Peru, and just what a fantastic experience for us to give back to, those organizations, but also for us to experience it, in real time by visiting those communities. So that was an extra special feature of those trips.
Sweet. So Marianne and I didn't go to Peru. That's on both of our bucket lists. Like, we need to go. But I joined you, like I said in your intro before, on Mount Kilimanjaro and Everest Base Camp. I know that you've been asked this question 1,000 times before, and so have we, but if you had to choose to do one again right now, EBC or Kili?
And we call it Kili, by the way.
My diplomatic response is, these are 2 very different adventures. Each is unique in terms of terrain the environment, the culture. Like 2 amazing trips. They both hold a really special place in my heart. I've been to both multiple times, and it was a different experience each time. For me, because I got to bring a different group with me. But as the years went by, I could see the changes, in the local areas, in the countries as well. If I had to pick, it would definitely be Everest Base Camp. There's just something about the Himalayas. I mean, they're enormous. Like it's like you've never seen anything like it anywhere else in the world. The largest mountains on Earth within this just like phenomenal range, and it's just magical. Like they're both life-changing experiences, but there's something about being in the alpine environment that just really resonated with me.
So I want to call Kristi out on something. It's perhaps one of my favorite things you do, and that we still do to this day. And I know you guys know what I'm about to say, but the coolest thing about the Himalayas that I loved was we'd wake up in the morning, it'd be a beautiful clear sky, and we would be like surrounded by these peaks over 20,000 feet. And Kristi, can you demonstrate how you describe those peaks?
I wasn't ready to demonstrate. I feel like it's so orchestrated right now. It's just like, we'd wake up in the morning. Well, my favorite was that we'd get into a village at night, or like, after the sun had gone down, and it'd be dark, and no one really knew what to expect, and we'd get everybody settled for the evening. And then you wake up in the morning and there's just this like phenomenal sunrise and just spectacular views. And so every morning we would wake up, and I would rush to the window because I knew what to expect in the years that I had gone back. But yeah, it's just unreal. It's like, it's just, now I feel we were doing it. It's like just mountains like 360 around you, and it was just like, I don't know, it's just phenomenal. You do it.
Vicky, let's do it together.
Do it together.
Boom, 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 boom.
Just mountains everywhere. Just so amazing.
I'm really craving that right now, is that the feeling of like awe and like completely and utterly being in the moment. I'm craving that a lot right now.
Yeah.
You don't really get it from your couch so much, like sitting inside.
Yeah, and even like you don't really get it just, our city is spectacular, our country is amazing, but it's like, from your couch, you don't get to experience these moments of like just pure and utter like fascination and just overwhelming emotion of being in the Himalayas. It's just really special.
One of the cool things is, a lot of people do these trips with small groups or solo, but you had maybe the privilege of leading, what'd you say? Like, I think the smallest group was probably our group, which was 18, all the way up to about 30 people up these massive mountains and trips. Like, how do you like, it was you and Sean, and sometimes we had other leaders as well, but how do you successfully lead that many people up an epic and adventure like that with all of the roadblocks along the way and challenges?
Lots of challenges for sure, but lots of reasons to celebrate too. So, it's a balance. One thing that Sean and I really worked towards was the preparation piece for everyone. Our goal was really to get everyone on the team ready for what they were going to experience. And it was a slightly different variation of that for everyone, depending on what experience they came to us with. But, it could be anything from, physical training, mental training. We went, hiking here in Ottawa, in all kinds of weather, for hours at a time, just getting accustomed to being out in the elements. Gear trials, so practicing with our layers, getting everyone accustomed to, what do they need to wear to be protected but not overheating. to like finding, finding a good sleeping bag and, testing out water systems, like anything we could identify that could be prepared for or tested in advance. That was, I think, a key element to how we were then able to be successful on the mountain, because if we had that piece sort of squared away, it meant we could focus our attention as leaders and for everyone as participants on the task at hand, which was the actual climbing, which was dealing with the weather, which was dealing with stress. So whatever we could do in advance, we did. And then encouraging that very positive and agile mindset on the mountain, because there's things that come up that you don't expect or can't prepare for.
So sorry, Marianne. What were you gonna say?
Just a quick follow-up, like you're a natural born leader even in your day job too, but and you even have that in our friendship stuff, like you can tell. But what percentage would you say personally was patience, and what percentage was like being proud, and what percentage was like frustration with dealing with us?
With you two specifically?
The overall group. I know we were angels, so
that's a whole other story.
That's a whole nother day. I think that patience for sure. I'll speak for just myself, but like patience for sure. And that was something, I was fortunate that I got to lead these trips, and I got this opportunity to, practice my own set of leadership skills and fine tune them with such, unique groups in a unique environment. But I mean, patience is key in anything you do in large groups. And I think you guys would say the same as participants, patience, with each other, as tent mates, there are probably times where you got frustrated with each other, and you would, keep perspective and support each other when that was needed. And it was the same for Sean and I. There'd be times where, he would lead, and there'd be times where I would lead, because we had different approaches that worked better in different environments or with different people. So yeah, I mean, certainly, when you're taking 15 to 30 people on an adventure at altitude, patience is going to be a key piece, balanced with a little bit of frustration there as well. What was the middle one? What was my alternate? Patience?
What was the other one?
What was the other one?
Patience. Like how proud were you, or like the overall good feeling?
Just overall good feeling, overarching over all of that all the time. We had, you had small successes. Like there were some days just, for everyone as individuals and as a group, just getting out of bed, getting dressed, getting fed, at altitude, you don't feel like eating, you don't feel like drinking. So looking out for each other as far as that goes. So those were small successes, but then every day, climbing higher, or people who were afraid of heights, that's something to overcome. So we had small successes, every day, and the large success being, the summits in each area, but proud all the time, 100%.
Love it. I want to go back quickly to getting prepared for the mountains and kind of segue that into our next topic, in that I don't think anything could have prepared us for summit night for Kilimanjaro, because that was next level. That was honestly the hardest thing I've ever done. And maybe that's why I choose EBC over Kili, because when I think of Kili, I think of all the beautiful moments. It was glorious, but summit night was really freaking hard. And luckily, for me personally, I had you right in front of me. And I remember zoning out in the middle of the night, just being able to see the back of your shoes, just being able to see Keen, and just being die. I'm going to die. But then having that okay, well, if Kristi can do it, maybe I can do it.
You can. Yeah. Yeah, certainly. And when we talk about, it's hard to do a comparison of both those destinations that you guys both did, but summit night on Kilimanjaro is just so unique, because you leave high camp, at midnight or 1 a.m. High camp is like perched on the side, like, on the side of the mountain, and it's a lot of wind, it's dark, it's cold, it's the coldest I've ever been, it's the coldest you've probably ever been.
That says a lot.
There's no like layering of down that equates to the perfect layer for a summit night. And yeah, it's just, and it's like 15, 18, 20 hours, by the time you get back in camp so you can actually rest. It's quite an epic feat. Whereas with EBC, it's different, in terms of the last push. It's not quite the same. So yeah, obviously it doesn't surprise me that you would identify that as being a challenging night. And that's something that I'm channeling right now, like, daily and weekly in these last couple weeks. If I can do that, I can surely get through this. And I think that's something that you guys can both relate to, is with these adventures and challenges, relating them back to after the fact. How does that inform your life going forward? And one of them is to draw on them in times like these.
I think it pushes your bar of how tough you are. And I would say physically is one thing, but I think it's all mental up to it, like at a certain point. So I think that both of those trips really raised the bar for my own personal, abilities. Pardon?
Pain tolerance,
and being able to push through.
Yeah.
And yeah, just time of personal challenges. I found that Kristi was like super helpful for everything from reminding us to like change out of our clothes at the end of the hike and get into our camp clothes. Otherwise we would freeze, or making sure that we're eating enough, making sure that we're drinking enough. I found that I personally really struggled with altitude, and it was an Everest base camp. I didn't take any drugs for Kilimanjaro, but Everest base camp, Kristi, I remember you and I having this conversation, if I should take the medication to deal with altitude sickness. And you obviously said, make the best choice for yourself, but I feel like, and I end up doing it, and I felt like $1 million the next couple of days. So I would say, like, when it came to personal challenges, you were such a rock, I think, for both Vicky and I think so many other people on the team, that having like someone like you on the team and leading, and Sean was amazing for so many other reasons too, that sometimes having people make the call for you and like hold your hand through these things, and sometimes actually holding your hand.
Yeah. I don't know what to follow up. Those are all like, those are all really profound, observations and reflections on your experience. And yeah, I mean, those are unique to you, but they're similar to what everyone experiences. And, the solution or the way forward was, for us to rely on each other, and for, really for the group. I mean, I think everyone had to climb the mountain themselves. Everyone made it to EBC, with their own 2 feet. You had to ultimately, put one foot in front of the other. But, we were so fortunate that we every year had a team, and we put those support systems in place, because when things get tough, that's those support systems. I mean, I think, and it sounds like you agree, like those things pull you through for sure.
And even look at, like, we hiked Kili 3 years ago, almost to like within the month, Everest Base Camp 2 years ago. And we're all, and like Vicky and I have been friends for a while, but like on a soft note, like Kristi, like I would say the biggest success is that we're all really good, like we're all very good friends now because of these trips.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something about travel, you know, I know Vicky, you've got stories of travel too, where, you know, there's something about travel and like sport and, you know, athletic endeavors and nature. I mean, you put all that together and that's like definitely a recipe for long-term friendships. You know, the three of us are so fortunate in that we're so close every day. But even if I ran into any one of my participants over the last 10 years, you know, it's like, it's always big bear hugs, because even if you've lost touch, you had that experience together, and like, it's like nothing else. So there's this.
The worst part about like quarantining right now is not getting big hugs from my friends. I'm like, this is torture. This sucks. All I want is like a Marianne hug or a Kristi hug, and I'm dying.
Yeah.
We're so soft.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to most, is just big bear hugs at the end of this. I mean,
yeah. Other than big bear hugs, what else are you most looking forward to when it comes to the outdoors? Vicky, sorry, I took your question.
Oh, it's your question.
Oh, is that my question? It's my question.
Land on it. I'm like, we gotta wrap shit up.
Go rogue here. You know, we're really lucky. You know, we can go outside. You know, where I am, I've been able to find some like hideaway, you know, pieces of nature that I can get out and explore. But I mean, obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but I can't wait to get back to Gatineau Park. You know, for us here in Ottawa, you know, for the three of us, the Gatineau Park is like, it's what we do every weekend, all year round. So, you know, it's just like, it's just this huge void in my schedule, but also like in my heart and soul, that, you know, I can't get out and, you know, hug a tree. I mean, I could hug a tree on the road, but it's different.
Hugging trees in Westboro, suddenly there's like a news story about like crazy women.
Yeah, there's something about, you know, Gatineau Park. I mean, and ultimately, you know, what I'm looking forward to is, you know, we're all very avid travelers. You know, I'm looking forward to being able to experience the world as I have in previous summers. You know, but even just close to home, being able to get to the park and get in the trails is it just feeds my soul. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Us too, friend. I think our Zoom call is about to wrap up here. So
we're gonna get cut off.
Love you both. Thanks for joining Campfire Chats, Kristi. We love you and we appreciate you.
Love you too. Thank you.
Bye.